We're in Zurich today in a Pix Moving vehicle, which is one of the key elements of this Automated Mobility Summit. The experience is just amazing, and we will show you what is being showcased during this Swiss Automated Mobility Summit.
Le Automated Mobility Summit, c'est vraiment un événement où les gens y viennent, ils échangent, ils collaborent, ils discutent, ils lancent des projets ensemble, ils résolvent des questions ensemble, ils résolvent des problèmes ensemble et surtout, ils peuvent sentir, toucher les véhicules autonomes et voir vraiment concrètement qu'est-ce qu'un véhicule sans chauffeur peut apporter à la société, comment on peut améliorer la mobilité, l'accessibilité. Et aujourd'hui, notre événement permet de le faire.
This Pix Moving shuttle is quite interesting. I really like the interior design. The atmosphere is really neat and we have a good travel experience. It's a 6-seater with 3 people sitting in front of the 3 others.
The Robobus, which we are showcasing today, it's on what we call the skateboard platform. Basically, it's a modular platform that can cater to many aspects of mobility, and we can basically create a one-stop shop for any OEM that wants to have autonomous mobility into their lineup with this kind of skateboard platform.
It's pretty smooth. I like that it is built like an AV and not like a normal car with the steering wheel still in place. So that gives you a more the futuristic aspect, which is quite nice.
Next to Pix Moving, we also have the Swiss company LOXO. They have retrofitted the ID.Buzz vehicle and it is meant for last mile delivery.
Et c'est un véhicule que je trouve très agréable au niveau justement de la conduite, dans la fluidité en fait de la conduite.
During this Automated Mobility Summit, many companies are showcasing their vehicles and technologies. Companies such as Moya, such as ReRide or Adastec and Carson for their large buses.
On est vraiment maintenant à un moment où on se pose plus la question quand on fait un événement. Maintenant, l'événement doit contenir des véhicules autonomes. On n'est plus maintenant en train de parler, on est en train d'expérimenter, on est en train de tester, de ressentir les véhicules autonomes.
This model again.
We're in front of the ReRide stand. ReRide is one of the most prominent autonomous driving companies coming from China. Today they are showcasing 2 types of vehicles. First we have the Robobus. This is the 2nd generation based on the Golden Dragon platform. It's being operated in several cities in Europe, including Châteauroux in France and the city of Leuven in Belgium. Behind me you see the ReRide Robotaxi based on a Nissan platform. Actually, what you can see on this vehicle is the stack of sensors, but also some microphones. And the project is very interesting. It's done in cooperation with the canton of Zurich, with the Swiss Transit Lab and the Swiss Railways. The use case is quite interesting because they use it as a last mile solution to bring people to the train stations and really work it into an intermodal transport system. This is the autonomous bus from the Turkish bus manufacturer Carson, powered by the Adastec autonomous driving system. It is being operated in the city of Arben in Switzerland, but you could see it in many other cities like Stavanger in Norway, in Paris or at Rotterdam Airport. Quite interesting vehicle because it can fit much more passengers. What's quite amazing is that a few weeks ago Carson has announced that they have removed the safety operator in the city of Stavanger. Interesting project here in Switzerland made by the transport operator Post Auto together with the canton of St. Gallen and some other partners. They will deploy 20-25 vehicles for last mile solutions for bringing people to train stations and really operate in the rural area. This is very interesting concept, of course, for Europe. This is what we have in mind, the vision of combined mobility when autonomous driving services can complement public transport.
So what we have is until now a so-called single type approval. So we are allowed to use these vehicles with a regular driver in all over Europe actually, but that doesn't mean, of course, that we are allowed to switch on now the L4 system. And we are currently in the midst of receiving the permit from the Federal Office of Roads, hopefully soon, and then we will start with safety drivers and see that we can further accelerate. By 2027 we expect to get rid of the safety driver and of course see how further we can get with the project, understanding the ratio, for example, between operator and vehicles and so on.
This is the Volkswagen ID.Buzz retrofitted by Moya. Moya is a Volkswagen subsidiary that operates ride-pooling services in the city of Hamburg for many years with hundreds of vehicles. What's pretty interesting is that Volkswagen had this in mind for a long time, first to start ride-pooling operations with human-driven vehicles and moving gradually to autonomous driving. What we actually learned during this summit is that we see that many players are now ready for deployments, what we would really call commercial deployments, like in the United States, maybe not having thousands of vehicles in the 2 coming years, but few dozens, if not hundreds of vehicles. An important aspect was also funding. We need to have a way to fund this project, because the main difference in Europe, we don't have big tech players ready to invest billions in developing the technology, but also showing that a large-scale operation can work. So in the European context, we need to find another way to develop those large-scale deployments. And in Europe, there's also a vision that it must be very well integrated in public transport. So the cooperation between tech providers, OEMs, authorities, transport operators is by far an important aspect when talking about autonomous mobility here in Europe.
Dans l'introduction que j'ai fait au public, j'ai fini l'introduction en disant que j'aimerais que la valeur de l'événement ne soit pas seulement sur scène avec les panels et les keynotes, pas seulement ici dans les expositions et dans l'essayage de véhicules autonomes, mais que la valeur elle soit dans les échanges entre les participants. Parce que c'est en échangeant qu'on va en fait créer des projets. Et je pense et j'espère qu'aujourd'hui, avec ces 300 personnes réunies, que de là va aboutir des projets hyper intéressants de véhicules autonomes.